Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I want to get started on this little project I'm doing with the most recent FUN-PAX. I also want to say, I know that Halloween is not for everyone. Thank you so much for your very sweet comments about the first Halloween video that I posted a couple of days ago or yesterday. I don't remember. I lose track of the days. Anyway, I know it's not for everyone and I fully respect that. It gets heavy even for me when I spend an entire month trying to do Halloween every single day. I love the season. I love the history of it. I love learning more about it. I don't like when things get too dark. So I get it. I completely get it. That being said, we're not going to do Halloween on here every single day this month. I will be checking in with the Halloween journal. That way there is more diverse content on here. This is part of the FUN-PAX that I listed yesterday, and I have spent this morning packaging those up and getting them ready to go out. I'm hoping to have them all sent out today. I recently came across a video that I'm going to link in the description, so packed full of motivational things. I wanted to write it down and have a little book that I can keep close by, like on my art desk or my desk inside the house, wherever, that I can look at it when I'm feeling really blah. And I think we all can feel that way sometimes. This pack had 3 index cards in it like this. And we had 8 little 6x6 pieces of scrapbook paper. I looked at the orientation of the paper and took mine down to 4x6 and punched holes with, hang on, let me grab it. I have one of these that I love having this. You can use this with the metal prong fasteners. It's the perfect size. I'm sure this is meant for office use, and of course mine's splattered with paint. It's got dust and everything else. But you can just slide your cards in here and punch. And I just love having this. You don't have to have one though. You could use a regular hole punch, just a 1-hole punch, and make sure that you just line everything up. And I guess maybe a crocodile would go through the whole stack. Now that's another thought. I didn't even think about doing that. I went ahead and punched holes to be even all through here. I've used my postcards that were in the pack. The scrapbook paper has been cut down to 4x6, and I just sort of interspersed these little, there were 3 cards with the tabs, so that there's one on the back and one on the front. I have some hole reinforcers here. I have these vintage gummed reinforcements, and then I love taking these labels off of the vintage bobbins that you can find sometimes. Even if the thread is dry rotting, you can pull these off and use them, and I think they're so cute to use like that. I need more coffee. Step outside of the workshop and it is so beautiful this time of year. There really is something special about the fall season. Love the garden this time of year, but let's go in and get some coffee. While we are waiting on the coffee, why don't we check on a beautiful spider? She has taken up residence in my garden, and I could not be happier. Look at the moms peeking through the fence. Really pretty. Oh, and I love this color. I'm glad we came out here. Got the coneflower blooming again. And oh, these are my favorite moms. The color is just so beautiful. If we come over here, we have one of these glorious, beautiful, she's big, an orb weaver. Look how beautiful she is. She's a big spider. We actually have another bell pepper that's starting to grow. We have this salvia that's decided to come back out. Hot lips, I think it's called. And the mandevilla is just gorgeous. Oh, and let me show you this. Oh, I probably need to bring some water over. This is my sweet potato that I decided to plant. Yeah, she needs some water. And it's just very lovely. It's growing right up here with the mandevilla. I cannot believe how this plant has taken off. I'm gonna have to take all of this inside, I think, because I want it to overwinter. Okay, let's get back to this. I want to fill this with quotes and things that are encouraging and uplift me. But first we need to decorate it a little bit. And I love the bright colors. I'm trying to think, how do I want to incorporate color into this? We've got the bright fabric, which I wanted. I've glued a piece on the front. I'm going to glue some here too. On the back, we've got the one with the stripe. So yeah, I do need to cut some more fabric to go here. Let's do the floral on one side and then the stripe on the other side. And we will just get this thing all bright and decorated. And anyway, so I definitely know that Halloween's not for everyone. And I really appreciate those of you who who are willing to not watch it, but to still hang around and tune into the other things. Like, it would be easy to say, oh, well, she's got that on there, I'm not subscribing to her anymore. It's just, to me, it's a topic of interest, very much so. I think there's a lot of history behind it. So let's just glue this fabric down. Big piece of lint on there, and actually the whole ring of dried glue there. And I guess we could go ahead and, well, I don't know if we need that or not right now. I was going to say we could go ahead and put some more hole reinforcements there. Let's start with this. I'm just going to take a piece of paper to put under here. You know, some gelatos might be fun. This bright blue is pretty. I'm not sure if I want to add water all the way around, and I need clean water.
Cheers. Hello, everybody. Want to say hi? That's a big boy. That's a good boy.
All right, we have clean water. I don't know if I want to add water around the edge or not, but maybe I do. I think adding the water makes it feel more distressed, which I really like. Oh, I need more glue under there. There, that's pretty. Let me dry it a little bit. That's probably good enough. Go ahead and add some more glue under here. Oh, this side. Let's go with this bright yellow. I can come back and add water later if I want to. So in order to just keep us moving on, I won't do that right now. Let's just add our color in. That's really pretty. I like that. So maybe we could stick with that. Oh, Sorry, I guess I should bring this back. Let's stick with this. It would help to take the lid off. Let's stick with this color. For the yellow, and the blue is really pretty with this fabric. We could do pink too. Maybe we'll do that on the other one. Well, yellow would probably be pretty as well. Listen to me talk myself into every single color. We could add color on the edges of these also. I do love that the paper is two-sided. We can add clusters to this, little embellishments. That's going to be a lot of fun to do. So let's go ahead and cut a piece for this. I like working with things that have lines in it to make it easy to know where to cut. And you will definitely have fabric left over if you do a small project like this, which is one of the things I love about the FUN-PAX, is that you have materials you can put up and use later. I need to get more tacky glue. I've got a little in this one and a little in the other one. And I need more Mod Podge too. I'm low on everything right now. But I think we just go through it, you know. And there could be a lot worse things that we could be doing than going through glue and Mod Podge, because it means that we're being busy creating, which is nice. I do want to go ahead and put some reinforcements on the center index card as well. It's a little divider, one of the little divider cards. Let's see if I have another. Oh, I love the ones that have the writing on them, like the Clark's bobbin. That's so cute. Let's see, let's put some color here. I think I will go ahead and try this bright pink. Oh, that's pretty. I love pink. I know everybody's not crazy about pink, but I do love it. You can also just rub this in sort of, I guess, with your fingers. Ends up on your fingers, but that doesn't bother me. And then let's put a couple of the reinforcements on this side. I am trying to decide how I want to add all of these text portions with the quotes and everything. If I want to do it by typing it out and printing it and using really pretty fonts. And I'm kind of leaning towards that, especially because there were so many things that I want to write down. And I think with the journal being this size, it might be easier to have it typed out if you're just considering the space that you have to put things. And I'm also wondering if I want to put any pockets in here to be able to hide some quotes. And I think I might, like on the backs of the postcards. I don't know for sure yet. I'm still just kind of working all of that part out. And something that I noticed, so let me see if this works. Let's go ahead and just do a trial run with putting all these on the rings. And I know those reinforcements are not completely dry yet, so I'm being careful with that. Oops, how did I miss those? And then let's do the other one. There's probably an easier way to do this than what I'm currently doing. That's not too bad though. That wasn't hard. So something I noticed, I was thinking, how can you can't really put too many charms hanging on the outside of these rings because they end up getting in the way. And these journals or books that end up, that you put on metal rings, they're a little bit different than a regular binding. But I noticed these charms here that are flat, so it doesn't change the orientation of the charm when you put it on. They fit right on here, and I just love that. That gives it a charm that doesn't really get in the way. And it made me start thinking, what else could I do? Like these were on that Halloween, like this Halloween chain that I found. So I took it completely apart and ended up with some pretty beads and the pumpkins for Halloween. But I'm not sure I'll use that in the Halloween journal. And it ends up being perfect to go on these little rings. These particular ones, well, unless it's going to start being a pain. I don't know. We're going to try it and see what happens. See, you can see them through there. But this has inspired me to start looking for, I guess, necklaces that have charms like this. Now, we could decide by the end of this that we don't want to use these. But for right now, I think that's kind of fun. I don't know. Have you ever used charms on a book that's done with the rings like this? This pack also had some tickets in it from Jungle Rapids. So we could make a little cluster for the front, and we have little pieces of fabric as well. And sometimes what I end up doing is pulling in additional items. Let me get some ephemera. So I just grabbed a stack here from, oh, that's cool, the circus. I like her. She would be pretty on the front. I have a bag close by that I just stand ephemera in until I can go through it. Oh, I do love that on the front. That was really fortuitous that was just sitting there. Jungle Rapids, I love that. So maybe we can find one of these little pieces of fabric. That floral is pretty. I don't even know if we need the whole thing. So let's tear that. I do like this little piece with the red, though. So let's figure out how to do this. And I wonder if I need to tear any more off of this. Look at those big puffy sleeves. Oh my goodness, I would love to have a dress like that. Jason plays tonight. It's always fun to get dressed up and go out and listen to him play. So I don't want to cover up that rose either that she's got. Jungle Rapids. So let's look for, I might have messed myself up by tearing that fabric because it was big enough that I could show let's look for some more, maybe one more piece of ephemera to go with that cluster. Why is this stuff so fun? I mean, it's just, I like that. And sometimes it's fun to just use a staple. There's nothing wrong with staples. I like the colored staples too. You can get red and blue and green. And I'm out of those right now. So that's on my list of things that I want to order. We will put a little bit of glue under there. And maybe also, let's distress that little piece of music that we can see. Should we do the ticket as well? We could have done that in a different color. We can also come back and add color anytime with the gelatos or with paint or with whatever we want to use. So that video that I saw, it just popped up in my feed, and I'm so glad it did. And again, I'm going to be sharing the link to that. But this is an example. This is an example of one of the things that was said. Discipline your thoughts when you're tired. Focus your spirit when you're hurting. Smile when it feels unnatural. That smile is not fake. It's fuel. I absolutely love that. There are times that if you don't feel like smiling, but you smile anyway, it makes you feel better. I need reminders like that. I really do. So let's go ahead and just put this right here on the front. And I do want to add a little, like for the front of this, and I definitely will probably type this one. Definitely and probably don't go together. Jason reminds me of that. Probably going to type it a little speech bubble that says stay encouraged. And with the tabs, you could even, like, you may have some that you already have in your stash. You could add more tabs and categorize this into different things, like if you have certain areas where you really struggle, like self-esteem or worrying about a particular thing or health or whatever, you could have different sections in this and say, oh, I really need to be encouraged about this today. So just going through here, another thing I wanted to do with the items from this, and now here we're getting to where I could keep this. I really like knowing who does the artwork. So I like to give credit everywhere that I can. And that one of those things would include not covering up the artist's name. But we could add color around the edge and then even put like a cluster on here, because we're going to have writing in here too. And I would want to cover up that UPC or whatever that's called, that barcode. And there might be better ways to add color. Sharpies, you know, permanent color. But I love the way this sort of fades into the paper. And we might just take, oh, that might be a good place for a tiny little pocket, you know, with the scrapbook paper. So I just grabbed a little piece here. So let's do that. Let's cut. I did not round the corners on this. I thought about it. And I thought, well, I believe I'll round the corners. And then I haven't done it yet. I don't think you have to do it. But that's another thing you could do to make it feel more like delicate or whatever. I don't know if that's the right word, but or more finished. Because the corners can feel a bit sharp and they can get worn down, you know. But again, this is another project that you can go back to and just keep adding to. I don't think anything is ever really done in a way. Although I do have journals that to me are just complete. Especially some of my art journals that are more like works of art than works in progress. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. I think everybody understands that. So that way, if you find a little card that's inspirational, you could put it in here. Oh, I wonder if I don't think I have any other ones I've been thinking about, but like even those little inspirational cards that are the size of playing cards. And I love the way the color is transferring over. I don't worry about things like that. I think it adds to the personality of the book. And then we can start coming in with the little pieces of fabric that I included. And you can put tabs. And I tried to make all the fabrics. Oh, I kind of got that one upside down, didn't I? So we can switch that one. So you'll have these pops of color through here, because that's kind of encouraging too, I think. Let's put a little glue on this. And find a page. We can put this as a little tab. That might have been a good page where we were. Oh, that's pretty too, though. I like that. That's going to be so pretty. I like to make the packs where there is something that you can do with them. And that we can put like a directive here, like maybe this quotation is about getting older or whatever, and some of us are farther along in that process than others. But believe me, it arrives, and it arrives quickly. And Patricia, is it Rutledge? Is that how you say her name? The bucket lady, bouquet residence, lady of the house speaking. I love her. Oh my goodness. That was one of my favorite shows, Keeping Up Appearances, I think. Isn't that the name of that one? She passed away, I guess it was yesterday. But I saw a quote where she had talked about getting older and how it was not, like getting older is not the end. It is actually... It can be the most beautiful part of your life if you just set your attitude to enjoy these years. I'm 62, so I feel like I qualify as older. And I've never been happier, honestly. And that's the truth. I need to take better care of myself. I can feel little aches and pains that I know are probably from just... getting older or not exercising enough. And when you're younger, you can squeak by. But I know, Lord willing, and I'm here tomorrow and the next day and the next day, I'm going to start working out again. I used to work out faithfully every single day. Not like hardcore weightlifting or anything, but Pilates. I did Pilates every morning before I went to work. And I also walked a lot. And I did do weightlifting for a while for my arms, which is a very nice result when you do that. So I want to get back to all of that. Anyway, where were we going with this? Oh, like if aging is a concern. And there are also things about it that are... I hate to use the word scary, but sometimes you stop and think, well, what if this happens to me? Or what if that happens to me? And who is going to be, who will take care of me? Or am I going to end up being a burden to somebody? There are a lot of thoughts that can be heavy as you get older. But I will say that I am absolutely loving this stage of life. Let's put a little bit more glue in there. Right down the center. And we may need to hold that for a moment, or put a staple in it, or maybe put a little paper clip on it until it dries. And I'm just seeing, I opened the drawer with the paper clips, and there's that little brad that's got the shape on it. There are so many ways that you could continue to embellish this. You could sew little buttons on the pages. You could keep adding tabs. Let's turn that. This is the only thing that's aggravating about these kinds of journals is when the rings turn to where the what is it called? Hello. Yeah, this may not work. I'm going to take them out for now. And the word I was trying to think of, like the joint part of this, when that starts flipping through to where it gets caught on something that's smaller, that's the only aggravating thing about using the rings. But it's not enough of an aggravation to keep me away from it. I am going to take these out though while we're working in the journal, because I think we're doing too much flipping back and forth for right now. See, we're ending up, these little pieces of gelato that flaked off, especially that coral color, are starting to add little bits where the journal got sort of raked through it, and I am totally okay with that. What do we need to do? So we're going to come back and add the little speech bubble, stay encouraged. I have a lot of quotes I want to type out to go in here. We can add more pockets. We can add all sorts of embellishments. Let me show you where we are so far. In the front, I decided to go ahead and write the words, stay encouraged, and I put that in like a little speech bubble or whatever. There's the cluster on the front that we made, and I had so much fun just making little clusters to go on the pages. I think you could just keep adding to a book like this, and that is definitely what I will do. A couple of the quotes that I took from that channel: happiness is a discipline, and I love the way this turned out. These charms kept getting in my way, so I took them out and I thought, how can I put charms into a journal like this? So I ended up cutting a little piece of fabric that was the same height as the book and folded it in half and then just sewed around the edge, and I punched holes in it with the crocodile and glued down a couple of these like hole reinforcements, and then I went along and slow stitched beads. There's a charm, the heart with the wings on it, a little scrap of fabric, and then this is a little bird that's stamped on fabric that was sent to me by Carolyn. So I sewed that onto there, and you know what? You could add these all through. I thought there's got to be a way to add charms. It would be fun to make one of these and just sew little fabric scraps and let those hang down, sort of like a banner. This one says, happiness is a battle you fight for every single day. And I put that in this little space here because it's true. I think it's true. Here's a little pocket made with a cluster, and I have so much more that I want to add as far as encouraging quotes. I just wanted to go ahead and show you where I am. This says, you must command your mind to align with strength. We have a little pocket here. I did pull my ephemera out and tear out really pretty images of just vintage things. Here's one of the tickets. What I thought I might do is write a tiny little quote that I can glue on top of this where we can still see the number and the ticket, but maybe not necessarily the words on every single ticket. And then here is another cluster. This says, every morning you have to decide, will you control your attitude or let circumstances control it for you? Here's another little pocket. On here, I've got the powerful mind looks for purpose. And all of this was taken from that channel. Choose joy, not because life is easy, but because life is short. I love that one. That is definitely one of my favorites. And here's another one that is so powerful. When others see you smile through struggle and wonder what the secret is, there is no secret. Just daily, brutal, beautiful self-leadership. I truly love that. More clusters, the postcards that we have in here, and this one is another one that's amazing. I thought this was so apropos, as they say, for this postcard of the Native Americans. I was looking to see if it said exactly. It's hard to tell what the writers are, whether they're Native Americans or not, but that scenery definitely reminds me of like the Apache and the Navajo, all the scenery you see of them in books and things. It says, refuse to let circumstances decide your spirit. Choose every time to push yourself into the strongest, highest version of you. I love that. And this says, you were built with power, not to be ruled by feelings, but to rule them. When you beg for peace, clarity, motivation, you've already put your strength into the hands of something else. And when your strength belongs to something outside of you, it can be taken from you at any moment. I love that as well. Looks like, okay, now it's just sticking. Here's a little belly band that we can slide something under. What I plan to do is just keep writing quotes. I want this thing to be so full of inspiration that all I have to do is open to a page and get an inspirational quote at the beginning of the day. There's a lot more room for quotes. I think that might have been the last one on the previous page. I did put vintage stamps on the postcards. Again, more clusters. I just love these. I used the fabric scraps, little scraps of the scrapbook paper. There is a tiny little pocket made from one of the little fabric scraps. This is one of the envelopes that was in here, so I cut it to match the size. The width was perfect. It's 4 inches, but I cut it down to 6 inches and then cut a little a little divot or whatever here. And that way we're going to be able to slide, like we could write down quotations and slide them in here as well. We could use fabric to make a little tab too to pull that out. And then on this side, I use the technique where you draw the flower holding 2 pens at one time. And what my idea for this one, I forgot to put it in. My idea for this was to take, and you could use the map to make pages for your little book. But my idea for this was to draw the little flowers and then take a piece of the map, which has got just the beautiful, all of these lines and the little different colors and everything. Even if you get one that's in one color, which I think mine was just solid pink. Some of them have multicolors, but to go ahead and punch a little circle out and use that as the center of the flower. You could even write a little quote right in the center. And I know I'm doing this quickly. I could have put a little more thought into it. And if you wanted to come back around, like with a paint pen or something to give it a little more definition, that's really pretty. So I just always like to show you ideas that come to mind while I'm working with the packs, because I don't want you to ever get one and think, well, what am I going to do with all of this stuff? And I'm planning to write quotations on the back of that. And again, these were just scraps of paper that were left over that I used to make pockets. There's another cluster. I used the fabric to make tabs. And there's some of the beautiful tissue paper. I think I covered one whole page in that too. Where was that? It has to be in here somewhere. How did I just miss? Oh, there it is. So that's the pretty bright tissue paper under there. And then we get to the back. I stamped birdsong in a few different places in the book. It's here. I thought that would be fun to just do that. Sometimes, and there it is, sometimes I stamp it on fabric and then sew it or glue it to the back. But I just stamped it straight onto the book. We could stamp it on the front too. That might be fun, even if we just get part of it. It adds to the just the dimension and the texture. I think that's fun, things like that. All right, well, that is that one. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back really soon. I'm going to work more in the Halloween journal. I need to do a flip of the most recent everyday journal, so I will be back really soon. Thank you and bye for now. Since I talked about going out, I thought I would show you the dress that I have. I love the print on this one. So pretty for fall. It's one that I thrifted probably a year ago, year and a half.